the site. They have asked for an opportunity to be able to reflect and pray near the site, and we are working to accommodate them to make that possible. As to evacuation, I'm going to ask Mayor Burkett to address that because this is in his city. Thank you.
I had received calls from many residents who were frightened given the fact that the building they live in, Champlain Towers North, is basically the same building as Champlain Towers South. It was built at about the same time. It was built by the same developer. It was probably built with the same plans. It was probably built with the same materials. And given that we cannot determine what made Champlain South fall down, it's understandable that they're nervous. What I did was I reached out. After speaking to those residents on the first night, or it was the next morning, I reached out to Senator Scott and Mayor Cava and voiced my concerns, and we had a discussion, and the consensus was that taking action was probably necessary. Now, what kind of action to take was the discussion item, and I think the resolution of that was to tell the residents what we knew, give them the option to relocate if they wanted to, and basically get in there and do a top to bottom forensic study of the building. What happened today was our Surfside building official went into the Champlain Towers North and the Champlain Towers East, which is adjacent, and they did a cursory review of the structure. And to paraphrase my conversation with my building official, he came back and said basically that they didn't find anything that was out of order. Now, so that's reassuring, but that is not a deep dive into the building itself. And there are people that have concerns about staying in the building given what's happened. I can't say that I'd be excited about staying in that building either. So what we did was today we were able to talk to FEMA, and FEMA said that they would make arrangements given that it's a relationship between what's happened, the catastrophe that's happened at the South building, and what's potentially going on at the North building in the other circumstances, that they would help with the relocation, the temporary relocation, because it's likely that would probably only take a couple weeks for the deep dive, and then we would know, and we could probably say with certainty, or most likely, that the building is safe. Because right now I can't answer that question, but maybe in 2 weeks we can. Thank you.
Just to follow up on the North Tower, so there's no mandatory evacuation of the North Tower?
There was never a mandatory evacuation. It's always been voluntary.
And you mentioned the FEMA resources for the people who want to relocate.
Uh-huh.
How should they be accessing those FEMA?
That's a good question, and we're working on those details.
If I could just
Yes.
say, so we've identified a boundary for the FEMA relief, and it will include that area so that these families would be eligible for any FEMA relief.
What about the hotel next door? That's no one's in the hotel next door, right?
Red Cross is addressing that. That was evacuated, as was the building to the south,
Yeah.
in an abundance of caution, given that the structure that still remains was deemed to be unsafe.
But everything in east and north is voluntary at this moment, based upon how people feel about where they're living.
Given what I've just said, yes.
Two questions. One, probably for fire. When was the
Okay.
last person alive pulled out of the rubble?
I don't have the exact time frame, but it would have been within the first few hours when we arrived.
Secondly, we also heard that there's been some really expensive hotels in the area. Four Seasons is like $1,800 tonight. Have officials heard any reports about that, or have any concerns about price gouging?
They got prices. Do we know anything from the Red Cross gentlemen?
I'm not aware. I'm not aware.
In terms of anybody who's been relocated as a result of this entire situation, there's no price gouging.
I have a question for the mayor of Surfside, sir. We interviewed this morning and asked you if you were aware that the 2018 engineer hearing report had been sent to the office to the town officials. You said you look into that. Has there been any update?
Yes.
Has the city received this report?
I was sent that report today. As you know, I was the mayor in 2006 and 2010, and I became the mayor again in 2020. So I was not privy to that report at the time. However, given that issue was raised, I asked my building official to forward that report to me. I read that report, and there are issues in that report.
But can you confirm if the association sent the city that report prior to you coming into office?
The report was sent in 2018, yes.
So the
To
town
the
received
town,
it.
yes.
Was there any correspondence following that?
That's, like I said, what we're doing now is we're saving lives and we're bringing people out of the rubble. What we're going to do is the next phase, after we address the support for the families, is we are going to do a very deep dive into why this building fell down. And I imagine that's going to end up being a very comprehensive sort of project.
Go ahead, question right here.
Is there an update on the scope of the audit that will be conducted? Like how many structures will be included in that?
So Miami-Dade County is proceeding already to all of the buildings that are at the recertification time, and that process is under review, and I do not have the total number, but it will be completed within 30 days.
And this is the final question here.
It's really just practical and pragmatic. What's going on around here for residents' sake? What streets are open? Where
Okay.
can they go?
That's
People
it.
can't get
Please.
around.
Yeah.
Barriers that have been put up. What's going on that mitigate that?
Okay.
Good evening, everyone. Chief Julio Hierro from the town of Surfside. Currently, the perimeter extends from 85th Street to 96th Street. Harding Avenue is closed. Collins Avenue is obviously closed. We are asking for everyone to please avoid the area. Only residents are going to be allowed in to this interior perimeter. Obviously, our residents are suffering a lot as well in entering and exiting here. So the fewer people that enter, the quicker they can get in and out. East-west traffic is still available. As soon as we can, the goal is to open at least Harding Avenue and make it both north and southbound. Collins Avenue is going to be remaining closed for some time. La situación del tráfico en la ciudad de Surfside, estamos cerrando la ciudad prácticamente. Solo residentes pueden entrar de la calle 96 adentro del town de Surfside. Del sur, en la 85 calle, estamos dirigiendo el tráfico a Byron Avenue y pueden entrar por el sur en la calle 88, solo residentes. Estamos pidiendo que por favor, si no viven en Surfside o tienen necesidad de estar en esta área en general, por favor eviten la zona. Gracias.
Thank you, everyone. And now for Creole is going to be Ivan Morso.
Bonsoir tout le monde. Jeudi, nous faisons un pile progrès dans notre travail que nous avons fait pour nous capables de sauver la vie avec jeunes en pile survivants. Nous avons un pile limitation, mais nous avons continué à poursuivre le système qui est un système quadrillé. Première priorité, c'est chercher à sauver la vie avec l'équipe qui travaille sérieusement et a déjà commencé à gagner un bon résultat. C'est un processus qui est long en pile parce que c'est ADN que nous prenons pour nous capables d'identifier et dans la qualité de travail, il prend un pile de temps. Et nous avons le temps d'identifier